Well, this is kind of a new one. I shot a video this morning. It was set to go first thing tomorrow morning. And don't worry about what days any of this is because I don't even know what day this video will go up. But it turns out that between the shooting of the video and the posting of the video, everything changed. And the video is about Wendy's doing surge pricing. And I was going to just pull the video and throw it away. And I thought, well, you know something? The only thing that changed is that Wendy's said they weren't going to do it. But in my video, I had said, if they do it, it's not a bright idea because it might hurt them more than anything else. So I think in a roundabout way, I was kind of right. But I couldn't post the video on my main channel and leave it as it was because people would say, oh, Steve, you missed the fact that they're not going to do it. So the fact of the matter is that Wendy's said they were looking at doing surge pricing. Then 24 hours later, they said they're not going to do it, presumably because of the backlash, which I cannot take credit for because my video hadn't gone up yet. That's what happens. And it actually resolves one little thing that no one else would have ever caught. But I accidentally wore the same shirt in two videos in a row. And the reason it happened is that we had storms roll through Michigan last night. And the storms were thunderstorms, hail, accompanied by the sporadic tornado. There are at least two in Michigan, maybe more. Had all kinds of lightning and thunder and then sirens going off about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Lost power just long enough to have all my clocks had to get reset, that kind of thing. And so I got up and I was kind of like walking in kind of a haze and I shot two videos and that was one of the videos I shot. And this is the first time I've done this since I've been wearing t-shirts on camera. I actually shot a video, got up, walked around behind the camera, hit stop, and I don't know what distracted me or what got me off track, but I forgot to change the shirt I was wearing. So I got back in here, I shot the second video, which was Wendy's and the surge pricing. So this actually resolves that issue because I won't be running these two videos back to back on my main channel, running one there and one here. So again, only the people on the vault here would ever know that happened. But I will now show you the video, which I acknowledge is partially outdated because I said in the video that they're still considering surge pricing. But in the video, I predicted it would not be a good idea. And it looks like Wendy's kind of agrees, at least with my rationale, because they decided not to go with it, according to the news sources I've seen. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Had a whole bunch of people send me this story, and this is the kind of story where if they don't do what they're suggesting they might do, the amount of bad press they got from this is already pretty bad. But Wendy's is proposing to introduce Uber-style surge pricing. Surge pricing. So what surge pricing is if you go to get an Uber and you simply go into Uber and say, I need a ride, they partially base how much that ride's going to cost you on demand. So if you make the request when there's a lot of demand, they charge you more. And if there's very little demand, they charge you less. And some people have complained about that because there have been situations before, like emergencies, where people are panicking and calling Ubers and they discover that the prices have been skyrocketing because of all the surging demand. But that's how the economy tends to work. It's just some people think it seems very, very mercenary during an emergency to jack up prices. In fact, some people would say, hey, that might be price gouging, which is another story for another day. But the question is, Wendy's, okay? It's a restaurant. It's a fast food restaurant. Dave Thomas. And you go in there to buy something and you realize, oh, what I'm buying today costs more than it cost yesterday. But yesterday I was eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Today I'm eating at noon. And there's more people here. And they've jacked the prices up. So this is interesting because I'll wait to see what happens. But your favorite items could cost more or less depending on what time you order it in the future, according to Stacy Lieska. So that's all happening at Wendy's because in early February, the new CEO and president of Wendy's shared with analysts his various plans to increase company profits, including investing in digital menu boards that will have the capacity to display what they call dynamic pricing that fluctuates throughout the day, and that'd be rolled out between now and next year. He says, we're planning to invest approximately $20 million to roll out digital menu boards to all U.S. company-operated restaurants by the end of next year. This is him speaking to the nation's restaurant news. He added that Wendy's will also invest an additional $10 million over 2 years to enhance its global system, help upsell other items, and improve order accuracy, but that's not all. He stated beginning as early as 2025, we'll begin testing more enhanced features like dynamic pricing and day part offerings, along with AI-enabled menu changes and suggestive selling. Next thing you know, they're going to be doing all kinds of facial recognition on you. I mean, why not? Spokesperson for Wendy's confirmed the news with Food and Wine. That's who I got the story from here. It's from foodandwine.com. Stating the company is focused on providing great tasting food and is making a significant investment to grow its digital business, including rolling out digital menu boards. Beginning as early as next year, we'll begin testing a variety of enhanced features on these digital menu boards like dynamic pricing, different offerings in certain parts of the day, AI-enabled menu changes, and suggestive selling based on factors such as the weather. I guess if it's cold, they'll suggest coffee. If it's hot, they'll suggest a Frosty. Why not? Dynamic pricing can allow Wendy's to be competitive and flexible with pricing, motivate customers to visit and provide them with the food they love at a great value. We will test a number of features that we think will provide an enhanced customer and crew experience. But it could also have the opposite effect. If I'm thinking about going to buy food and I go, oh, it's lunchtime, Wendy's is now more expensive, I'll go to Burger King. But it's the middle of the afternoon and I go, hey, I'll go to Wendy's because their prices are down right now. So people might simply steer around that pricing. And keep in mind, economics, when you study it at its most basic, things like that happen. So somebody goes, there's great demand, I will raise prices. Whereas the consumers go, prices have gone up. Do I have any alternatives? Yes, I do. I'll go there. And so it's a game of cat and mouse as both sides figure out how to optimize what's best for them. In case that sounds like a load of corporate jargon, they break it down for us. Dynamic pricing allows companies to set variable pricing that can fluctuate up and down throughout the day, depending on demand. For example, if you've ever seen surge pricing on your Uber app, that is dynamic pricing. Businesses are able to change prices based on algorithms that take into account competitor pricing, supply and demand, and other external factors in the market. So dynamic pricing is a common practice in several industries such as hospitality, travel, entertainment, retail, electricity, and public transport. So hospitality would make sense that, for instance, around Christmas time, hotels in Florida charge more. Okay? Middle of the summer but not near a holiday, they charge a little less. Each industry takes a slight different approach to repricing based on its needs and the demand for the product. This means a Wendy's burger may sell at a higher price point during a busy lunch rush, then come down in price during an afternoon lull, and go back up again at dinner time. It's not just Wendy's. Other restaurants have suggested this. In fact, there's a recent panel discussion on how the restaurant industry could adopt a better system. The only caveat being if customers will love it or hate it. And I have a sneaky feeling that if Wendy's is the only one doing this, it's going to hurt them. Wendy's foray into dynamic pricing is a bold experiment that could help the chain be more efficient and ultimately profitable if it works, says Caleb Silver, editor-in-chief of Investopedia. But it does run the risk of angering and losing customers since they actually have many choices, unlike the rideshare industry. Because Uber's point is, hey, who else are you going to call? Wendy's, well, I can go to Burger King, I can go to McDonald's, I can go to Arby's, I can go to Taco Bell. Though so far, some other fast casual spots that have tested the method say they've seen positive results. A doghouse franchise owner, house being spelled H-A-U-S to make it more fancy, says for us it was all about consumer reaction. The concern was if you're going to raise prices, you're going to sell less product. And it turns out that really wasn't the case. I think there's a lot of room for consumers in terms of price amounts they're going to accept. Generationally, I think we're seeing this being acceptable. The entire idea could help fill in slower times and ease the burden on kitchen staff during peak hours, making every restaurant more profitable and sustainable from a human resource perspective throughout the day. Additionally, it gives consumers a chance to decide what they're willing to pay and when on any given day. So they do think this will help Wendy's. And it could help them all day long. Beyond dynamic pricing, they're also talking about pushing its breakfast program through a $55 million ad push from Wendy's, spread over the next few years. The investment will further amplify our plans and support an always-on approach across media partnerships and activations as we tell our breakfast story. See, it's that corporate speak I love. We're going to spend $55 million to tell our breakfast story. You mean you're going to run ads for breakfast? Yes, exactly. But the real question is, I realize that somebody else has done this now because the article points out that Doghouse did it. But for the major national brands, it appears that Wendy's is thinking about doing the surge pricing and nobody else has. And so we all know where there's a row of restaurants someplace and you're driving along and go, okay, which one am I going to hit? If you're going to do a fast food, you're on the road or something, right? And if you actually think to yourself, okay, there's a row of restaurants and one of them is Wendy's, and I might get charged more there right now than I would have otherwise, there's a good chance you're going to go, I'll go to one of the others. And so little decisions like that made by consumers at just the whim can make big differences. So it'll be interesting to see because, again, I think there's a big collection of restaurants that Wendy's owns and operates themselves, and I think there's also franchises. And so a lot of times franchises may or may not go along with the corporate headquarters and things like this. I'll be interested to see if everyone goes along with this, if it's successful, but also even if it's a success, there still might be other things that come out of this. So it very well could be they could say, yeah, we're actually not even making more money. We're making the same amount of money, but by spreading out how people come in here and shop, it turns out that we're making a profit better. That's a possibility. So it's a fascinating concept to people who study economics. But I have a sneaky feeling that Wendy's is going out on a ledge here by being the first one of the majors to do this. So we'll see what happens. But thanks to everybody who sent this to me. I appreciate it very much. This version was from foodandwine.com, but a whole bunch of different venues ran it. Wendy's is introducing Uber-style surge pricing. Stacy Liaska wrote that, and we'll see what happens. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Life is a question, and how we live it is our answer.